20 Black Hollywood celebrities who died way too soon. Each of these luminaries, from the soulful grit of Otis Redding to the legal brilliance of Chesley Christ, embodies the spirit of Black excellence legends. They broke barriers and redefined genres, yet their stories were tragically cut short by systemic pressures, health struggles, or sudden fate. While their artistic contributions are undeniable, their untimely departures leave us with a haunting silence and a collection of what-ifs. As we celebrate their monumental achievements, we must ask, does society place an impossible burden of perfection on Black icons, effectively fueling the tragedies that silenced them too soon? Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix wasn't just a guitarist. He was a sonic architect, a visionary who reshaped the very fabric of rock music. Born James Marshall Hendrix on November 27, 1942 in Seattle, Washington, his journey from a challenging childhood to global superstardom was meteoric, albeit tragically brief. With a guitar that seemed an extension of his soul, he didn't just play notes. He painted auditory landscapes, defying conventions with feedback, distortion, and a virtuosity that few have ever matched. His unique style developed through relentless practice, and a left-handed approach to a right-handed instrument birthed a sound that was both primal and futuristic. Before his legendary rise, Hendrix honed his craft, touring with various R&B acts, absorbing diverse musical influences. But it was in England, under the guidance of manager Chas Chandler, that the Jimi Hendrix experience truly ignited. Albums like Are You Experienced and Electric Ladyland weren't just collections of songs. They were sonic declarations pushing boundaries and inviting listeners into an entirely new dimension of sound. His performance at Woodstock in 1969, particularly his iconic, searing rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, transcended mere entertainment, becoming a powerful improvisational protest against the Vietnam War and a cultural touchstone. He wasn't just performing, he was making history, transforming a patriotic anthem into an anti-war statement with every bending note and controlled burst of feedback. Beyond the stage pyrotechnics and guitar wizardry, Hendrix was a deeply innovative artist, constantly experimenting with studio techniques and pushing the limits of recording technology. He blended blues, rock, soul, and psychedelia into a cohesive, electrifying whole. Yet beneath the dazzling spectacle, personal struggles weighed heavily. His life, a whirlwind of creative intensity and immense pressure, was cut short on September 18, 1970 in London, at the tender age of 27. His untimely passing, attributed to an accidental overdose, silenced a voice and a six-string genius who still had countless musical frontiers to explore. Despite the brevity of his career, Hendrix's influence remains colossal, inspiring generations of musicians to pick up a guitar and dare to dream in sound. He didn't just play, he pioneered. Naya Rivera. Naya Rivera was a luminous talent whose multifaceted career spanned acting, singing, and modeling, leaving an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. Born on January 12, 1987 in Valencia, California, she was a child prodigy who landed her first major role at the age of 4 in the sitcom The Royal Family. However, it was her transformative portrayal of Santana Lopez on the hit musical series Glee that catapulted her to international stardom. As Santana, a sharp-tongued cheerleader navigating her identity, Naya delivered a performance that was both fiercely comedic and profoundly moving, providing much-needed representation for the Afro-Latina and LGBTQ+ communities. Her vocal prowess was equally staggering, turning every musical number she touched into a powerhouse showcase of soul and technical precision. Beyond the scripted lines of television, Naya was a woman of immense depth and courage. In her memoir, Sorry Not Sorry: Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing Up, she candidly shared the hurdles she faced, from professional rejection to personal struggles, with a raw honesty that resonated with fans worldwide. She navigated the complexities of Hollywood with a relentless work ethic, constantly evolving as an artist while remaining fiercely protective of her roots and her family. Her commitment to advocacy was evident in her support for various charitable organizations, using her platform to amplify voices that were often silenced. She wasn't just a performer, she was a trailblazer who used her visibility to foster empathy and understanding across cultural divides. The world was shattered on July 8, 2020, when Naya disappeared while boating with her 4-year-old son at Lake Piru. In a final heroic act that defined her character as a mother, she used her last bit of strength to hoist her child back onto the boat before being pulled under by the currents. Her body was recovered 5 days later on July 13th, marking a tragic end to a life that burned with such vibrant intensity. At just 33 years old, her passing was a monumental loss, yet her legacy endures through the characters she immortalized and the lives she touched with her kindness. Naya Rivera didn't just occupy space in Hollywood. She commanded it with grace, humor, and an unbreakable spirit. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Amaru Shakur remains arguably the most complex and magnetic figure in the history of hip-hop, a modern-day philosopher king whose influence stretches far beyond the boundaries of music. Born on June 16, 1971, in East Harlem, New York, he was the son of Black Panther activists, a lineage that infused his artistry with a profound sense of social consciousness and revolutionary fire. Tupac possessed a rare dualistic brilliance. He could deliver aggressive, street-hardened anthems like Ambition's Azaraida, while simultaneously crafting soul-stirring, empathetic poems such as Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up. His gravelly voice and urgent delivery made him a lightning rod for the frustrations and aspirations of marginalized communities, earning him the status of a global icon for the oppressed. His artistic range extended to the silver screen, where he displayed a natural, commanding presence as an actor. In films like Juice, Poetic Justice, and Above the Rim, Tupac showcased a vulnerability and raw intensity that proved he was more than just a rapper, he was a master storyteller. However, his life was often a whirlwind of controversy, legal battles, and the intensifying East Coast-West Coast rivalry that gripped the mid-90s music industry. Despite the chaos, his productivity was unparalleled. He recorded hundreds of songs that continued to be released for decades after his passing, cementing his status as one of the best-selling artists of all time, with over 75 million records sold worldwide. The world stopped on September 7, 1996, when Tupac was struck in a drive-by shooting at a Las Vegas intersection. He fought for his life for 6 days before succumbing to his injuries on September 13th at the age of 25. His death remains one of the most debated mysteries in American history, sparking endless theories and investigations. Yet what remains undeniable is his monumental legacy. Tupac didn't just sell albums, he sparked minds. He challenged systemic injustice with the ferocity of a warrior and the heart of a poet. Even decades later, his murals adorn walls from Los Angeles to Palestine, proving that while the man was silenced, his message of thug life, interpreted by him as the struggle of the underdog, is immortal. Minnie Riperton. Minnie Riperton possessed a celestial instrument that defied the laws of human biology, a 5.5-octave vocal range that could soar into the stratosphere with effortless purity. Born on November 8, 1947 in Chicago, she was a classically trained prodigy who initially studied opera, ballet, and drama. This rigorous foundation allowed her to master the whistle register, a high-frequency vocal technique that became her crystalline trademark. Before achieving solo superstardom, Minnie lent her ethereal background vocals to legendary artists at Chess Records, including Etta James and Bo Diddley, and served as the lead singer for the psychedelic soul group Rotary Connection. Her voice wasn't just a sound, it was a phenomenon, blending the sweetness of a songbird with the technical precision of a virtuoso. Her 1974 masterpiece, Lovin' You, produced by Stevie Wonder, remains one of the most recognizable and beloved ballads in music history. The track showcased her ability to hit impossibly high notes while maintaining a gentle, intimate warmth that felt like a whispered secret. Beyond the radio, hits her albums like Come to My Garden and Perfect Angel showcased a sophisticated fusion of R&B, jazz, and folk, proving she was a boundary-pushing artist who refused to be pigeonholed. Minnie's music often celebrated the beauty of nature and the depth of human connection, reflecting her vibrant and optimistic spirit. Even as she reached the pinnacle of her career, she remained a grounded figure deeply devoted to her family, including her daughter, future comedy star Maya Rudolph. Tragically, at the height of her fame in 1976, Minnie was diagnosed with breast cancer. In an era when the disease was often discussed in hushed tones, she became a courageous pioneer, serving as the national spokeswoman for the American Cancer Society. She received the Society's Courage Award from President Jimmy Carter, using her platform to advocate for early detection and awareness while continuing to record and perform despite her declining health. Minnie Riperton passed away on July 12, 1979, at the age of 31, surrounded by her loved ones. Her physical voice was silenced, but her influence continues to resonate through every artist who dares to reach for the highest notes. She left the world a more melodic place, proving that a brief life can leave an eternal vibration. Lee Thompson Young. Lee Thompson Young was a charismatic and intellectually gifted actor who became a household name as a teenage sensation before transitioning into a sophisticated, dramatic performer. Born on February 1, 1984 in Columbia, South Carolina, his professional journey ignited when he portrayed a young Martin Luther King Jr. in a local play, a performance that revealed a maturity far beyond his years. This early spark led him to New York City, where he secured the titular role in Disney Channel's The Famous Jet Jackson. As Jet, a teenage superstar playing a secret agent, Lee embodied a unique show-within-a-show dynamic, capturing the hearts of millions with his poise, athleticism, and relatable charm. He wasn't just a child star. He was a role model who balanced the glitz of Hollywood with an unwavering dedication to his education, eventually graduating with honors from the University of Southern California's School of Cinematic Arts. As he moved into adulthood, Lee successfully shed his Disney persona, proving his range in various cinematic and television projects. He delivered a compelling performance in the acclaimed football drama Friday Night Lights and showcased his versatility in sci-fi series like Flash Forward. However, his most enduring adult role came as Detective Barry Frost on the TNT hit series Rizzoli and Isles. In this role, Lee brought a delicate balance of technical expertise and emotional depth, playing a brilliant detective who ironically was squeamish at the sight of blood. His chemistry with Achille and his portrayal of a kind-hearted, reliable partner made him a fan favorite. Off-camera, he was known by colleagues as a gentle, philosophical soul, a man of profound kindness who sought meaning in every interaction. Tragically, beneath the professional success and admired character lay a private, agonizing struggle with bipolar disorder and clinical depression. On August 19, 2013, the entertainment world was stunned when Lee was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment at the age of 29. His death, resulting from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, sent shockwaves through the industry and opened a vital, painful conversation about mental health in the Black community. In the wake of this loss, his family founded the Lee Thompson Young Foundation, an organization dedicated to removing the stigma surrounding mental illness and providing resources for those suffering in silence. Lee's legacy is twofold. He remains immortalized through his vibrant performances, and his story continues to save lives by illuminating the shadows of the mind, proving that even the brightest stars need a support system to keep shining. Aaliyah Dana Houghton, globally revered as the Princess of R&B, was a transcendental force who redefined the aesthetics of hip-hop and soul at the turn of the millennium. Born on January 16, 1979 in Brooklyn and raised in Detroit, she possessed an innate coolness, a street but sweet persona that became her cultural signature. Her journey began at a breathtakingly young age. By 12, she was performing in Las Vegas alongside Gladys Knight, and by 15, her debut album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number had already certified her as a platinum-selling sensation. Aaliyah didn't just sing songs, she glided over beats with a soft, breathy falsetto that was revolutionary in its restraint, influencing a generation of vocalists to favor subtlety over shouting. Her artistic evolution hit a monumental stride when she teamed up with then-fledgling producers Timbaland and Missy Elliott. Together, they crafted a jagged, futuristic sound on the 1996 album One in a Million, which shattered the traditional boundaries of R&B. Aaliyah was a visual architect as much as a musical one. Her signature looks, sultry, baggy pants, crop tops, and hair swept over one eye, set global fashion trends that remain iconic today. As she transitioned into film, she displayed the same effortless magnetism. She starred in the martial arts action hit Romeo Must Die and took on the titular role in Queen of the Damned, proving she possessed the gravitas of a Hollywood leading lady. She was a multi-hyphenate star whose trajectory was pointing toward legendary status. The music world was plunged into mourning on August 25, 2001. After filming the music video for her hit Rock the Boat in the Bahamas, Aaliyah and 8 others perished when their overloaded twin-engine plane crashed shortly after takeoff. She was only 22 years old. Her passing felt like the loss of a collective future as she was just beginning to explore the full extent of her creative power. Despite her brief time on Earth, her impact is immeasurable. From her choreography to her sonic experimentation, Aaliyah's DNA is embedded in modern pop and R&B. She remains a symbol of grace and innovation, a star that burned with a quiet, cool intensity, leaving an indelible glow on the fabric of entertainment. Nelson Ellis. Nelson Ellis was a transformative actor whose visceral talent and chameleonic ability to inhabit complex roles made him one of the most respected performers of his generation. Born on November 30th, 1977 in Harvey, Illinois, his path to greatness was paved through hardship and academic rigor. After a challenging childhood spent in the foster care system, he found solace and purpose in the dramatic arts, eventually earning a coveted spot at the Juilliard School. It was there that he began to hone a craft characterized by intense emotional intelligence and a refusal to play stereotypes. His breakthrough came in 2008 with the HBO series True Blood, where he portrayed Lafayette Reynolds. Though the character was minor in the original novels, Nelson's magnetic performance, blending fierce bravado with soul-crushing vulnerability, made Lafayette the undeniable heart of the show and a landmark for LGBTQ+ representation on screen. Beyond the supernatural world of bon temps, Nelson demonstrated a remarkable range that allowed him to disappear into historical and contemporary figures alike. He delivered a poignant performance as Henry the Waiter in Lee Daniels' The Butler, and captured the essence of Bobby Bird James Brown's loyal collaborator in the biopic Get On Up. His portrayal of Martin Luther King Jr. was equally lauded for its quiet dignity and humanizing touch. Colleagues often described him as a gentle genius, a man who possessed a profound, almost supernatural ability to channel the pain and joy of the human experience into every frame. He was an actor's actor, respected not just for the roles he chose, but for the meticulous research and soul-bearing honesty he brought to each one. Tragically, the world lost this brilliant light on July 8, 2017, when Nelson passed away at the age of 39. His death was the result of complications from alcohol withdrawal syndrome, a private struggle that his family bravely chose to share after his passing to help others facing similar demons. By being transparent about his battle with substance dependency, his loved ones transformed a devastating loss into a final act of service, breaking the stigma surrounding addiction. Nelson Ellis was far more than a supporting actor. He was a scene stealer who commanded every second of his screen time with a haunting, beautiful intensity. He left behind a legacy of uncompromising artistry, reminding us that the most memorable stars are often those who aren't afraid to show us the raw, unvarnished truth of the human soul. Tammy Terrell. Tammy Terrell was the quintessential voice of Motown's golden era, a vibrant soprano whose magnetic charm and undeniable chemistry with Marvin Gaye redefined the romantic duet. Born Thomasina Winifred Montgomery on April 29, 1945 in Philadelphia, her path to stardom began early as a child prodigy, winning talent contests. Before she became the darling of Detroit, she recorded for Scepter and Wanda Records, and even toured as a member of James Brown's Revue. However, it was Berry Gordy's Motown that truly recognized her luminous potential, rechristening her Tammy Terrell and pairing her with Marvin Gaye. Together, they produced a string of timeless classics like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and Your Precious Love, songs that captured the euphoric spirit of the 1960s and remain the gold standard for vocal harmony. Terrell brought a unique, spirited energy to her performances. She wasn't just singing lyrics, she was radiating joy. Her voice possessed a crystalline clarity, capable of conveying both playful flirtation and deep, soulful yearning. Beyond the recording studio, Tammy was known for her striking beauty and a resilient, feisty personality that commanded respect in a male-dominated industry. Despite the glamorous exterior, her personal life was often tumultuous, marked by abusive relationships and the grueling physical demands of constant touring. Yet whenever the spotlight hit her, she transformed into a beacon of elegance and warmth, masking her private struggles with a professional poise that inspired her peers and enchanted audiences globally. The trajectory of her brilliant career took a devastating turn in 1967 when she collapsed into Marvin Gaye's arms during a performance in Virginia. The diagnosis was a malignant brain tumor, a cruel blow for a woman only in her early 20s. Over the next 3 years, she underwent 8 grueling surgeries as her health steadily declined, eventually losing her sight and motor functions. Despite the physical toll, her spirit remained indomitable. Tammy Terrell passed away on March 16, 1970, at the heartbreaking age of 24. Her death profoundly impacted the Motown family, particularly Marvin Gaye, who struggled with grief for years afterward. Though her life was tragically short, Tammy's legacy is immortalized in the soaring high notes of her music, a reminder of a talent that reached the mountaintop and stayed there forever. Donny Hathaway. Donny Hathaway was a musical polymath whose velvet baritone and sophisticated arrangements elevated soul music to the realm of high art. Born on October 1, 1945 in Chicago and raised by his grandmother in St. Louis, he was a gospel prodigy who began performing at the age of 3. A classically trained pianist and composer who attended Howard University on a full scholarship, Hathaway possessed an academic understanding of music that he infused with raw spiritual passion. He didn't just sing, he conducted emotional masterclasses, blending jazz, gospel, blues, and classical elements into a seamless Donny Hathaway sound. Whether delivering the socially conscious grit of The Ghetto or the festive warmth of This Christmas, his voice acted as a direct conduit to the human heart, earning him the reputation of a singer's singer. His partnership with Roberta Flack created some of the most enduring romantic dialogues in the American songbook. Their duets, such as Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You, were characterized by a psychic level of vocal harmony and mutual respect. However, it was his 1972 album Live that solidified his legend, featuring a version of A Song for You so hauntingly beautiful that it remains the definitive interpretation for many. Despite his immense professional success and the adoration of his peers, Hathaway's internal world was often fractured. He struggled with severe paranoid schizophrenia, a condition that was poorly understood at the time, and frequently disrupted his ability to record and perform. He was a man of profound sensitivity, often feeling the weight of the world more intensely than those around him. The music industry was devastated on January 13, 1979, when Hathaway was found dead on a sidewalk outside the Essex House Hotel in New York City. He had fallen from his 15th floor room at the age of 33 in a death ruled as a suicide. His passing silenced one of the most brilliant minds in music, leaving behind a legacy of what-ifs and a catalog of songs that continue to offer solace to millions. Donny Hathaway taught us that soul music isn't just about rhythm, it's about the courage to be vulnerable. Today, his influence is felt in every soulful run of Alicia Keys and every raw note of John Legend. He remains a titan of American music, a man who gave the world everything he had through his fingertips and his throat before the shadows finally closed in. The Notorious B.I.G. Christopher George Latour Wallace, universally recognized as the Notorious B.I.G., or Biggie Smalls, was a towering architect of hip-hop whose lyrical dexterity and cinematic storytelling reshaped the genre's landscape. Born on May 21, 1972, in Brooklyn, New York, he possessed a distinctive, effortless flow that felt both heavy and agile, a rhythmic mastery that earned him the title of the King of New York. Biggie's genius lay in his ability to weave intricate narratives of street life, blending stark realism with a sophisticated, self-deprecating wit. His 1994 debut album, Ready to Die, became a cornerstone of East Coast rap, featuring iconic tracks like Juicy and Big Papa. He didn't just rap about the struggle, he articulated the psychological weight of poverty and the exhilarating, often dangerous rush of sudden wealth. Standing at a massive physical presence, Biggie's charisma was equally outsized. He brought a sense of luxury and mafioso flair to hip-hop, popularizing a high-fashion aesthetic that transformed the culture's visual identity. His voice was a resonant baritone used like a precision instrument to navigate complex internal rhymes and wordplay that seemed to glide over the soulful, sample-heavy beats produced by Sean Puffy Combs and the Hitmen. Despite his intimidating stature, his music revealed a vulnerable, introspective soul, a man who celebrated his triumphs while remaining haunted by his mortality. His sophomore project, The Prophetic Life After Death, was a sprawling masterpiece that proved his versatility, ranging from hardcore battle raps to smooth chart-topping pop crossover hits like Hypnotize and Mo Money Mo Problems. The trajectory of his legendary career was tragically severed on March Devini Tuxtantis Devini Shimtai Devini Estishimt Septini. While leaving a party in Los Angeles, Biggie was killed in a drive-by shooting at just 24 years old, an event that remains one of the music industry's most high-profile unsolved cold cases. His death occurred at the height of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, adding a layer of profound tragedy to a life that had only begun to realize its full potential. Life After Death was released just weeks later, posthumously debuting at #1 and becoming one of the best-selling rap albums in history. Biggie Smalls remains a titan whose shadow looms large over every MC who picks up a microphone. He taught the world that rap could be both a gritty documentary and a luxurious dream. Natina Reed. Natina Reed was a spark plug of creative energy, a multi-talented artist who infused the late 90s R&B scene with a distinct, feisty personality. Born on October 28, 1980, in New York City and raised in Atlanta, she was a natural-born performer discovered by the legendary Lisa Left Eye Lopes as the primary rapper and songwriter for the trio Block Natina, acted as the group's creative engine. Her sharp delivery and rhythmic precision were the perfect counterpoint to the soulful harmonies of her bandmates, helping the group achieve multi-platinum success. Hits like 808 and Bring It All to Me became anthems of a generation, showcasing Natina's ability to blend tough street-smart verses with catchy radio-friendly hooks. She wasn't just following the trends of the era, she was setting them with her futuristic style and infectious confidence. Her magnetism extended beyond the recording studio and onto the big screen, most notably in the 2000 cult classic Bring It On. Portraying Genelope, a member of the formidable East Compton Clovers cheer squad, Natina brought a fierce, unyielding attitude that made her an instant standout. Her performance added a layer of authentic grit and humor to the film, proving that her star power was versatile enough to command Hollywood's attention. Off-camera, those who knew her described Natina as a visionary with a big sister spirit, someone who was fiercely protective of her craft and her loved ones. She possessed a rare, restless creativity, constantly writing and dreaming of ways to evolve the sound of R&B and hip-hop. Tragedy struck on October 26, 2012, just 2 days before her 32nd birthday. Natina was struck by a vehicle while crossing a street in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Despite the efforts of bystanders and medical professionals, she was pronounced dead shortly after leaving the music community, and her young son, Trent Brown, in profound grief. Her death was ruled a tragic accident, a sudden silencing of a voice that still had so much to say. Though her time in the spotlight was far too brief, Natina Reed's influence persists. Her work with Block remains a blueprint for girl groups today, and her role in Bring It On continues to inspire fans with its message of confidence and resilience. She was a vibrant, unapologetic talent who proved that you don't need decades to leave a permanent mark on pop culture. Cheslie Kryst. Cheslie Kryst was a formidable force of nature, a modern polymath who shattered stereotypes by excelling simultaneously in the worlds of law, fashion, and media. Born on April 28, 1991 in Jackson, Michigan, she embodied a rare fusion of intellectual rigor and breathtaking grace. A former Division I track athlete, Cheslie earned both a law degree and an MBA from Wake Forest University, eventually becoming a complex civil litigation attorney. Her legal practice wasn't just a career, it was a mission, as she dedicated significant pro bono hours to advocating for prison reform and helping nonviolent drug offenders secure reduced sentences. When she was crowned Miss USA 2019, at the age of 28, she made history as part of the first group of Black women to hold all major pageant titles, simultaneously using her platform to redefine traditional standards of beauty with her natural curls and sharp legal mind. Beyond the pageant stage, Cheslie's charismatic presence and articulate delivery made her a natural fit for television. As a correspondent for the entertainment news program Extra, she conducted high-profile interviews with a mix of warmth and professional poise that earned her 2 Daytime Emmy Award nominations. She was also a fashion visionary, launching a blog called White Collar Glam, aimed at providing professional attire resources for women in the workplace. Cheslie possessed a luminous energy that seemed to light up every room she entered, yet she remained deeply grounded, often speaking about the importance of hard work, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of one's passions. She was a woman who seemingly had mastered the art of having it all, serving as a beacon of inspiration for countless young women, balancing ambitious careers with personal identity. The world was left in a state of profound shock and disbelief on January 30th, 2022, when Chesley tragically passed away at the age of 30. She was found in Manhattan after falling from a high-rise building, a death that was ruled a suicide. Her mother later revealed that Chesley had been battling high-functioning depression, a private, agonizing struggle hidden behind her radiant public smile and professional triumphs. Her passing ignited a global conversation about the invisible weight of mental health, especially among high achievers and the Black community. Chesley Christ's legacy is one of immense brilliance and heartbreaking vulnerability. She remains a symbol of excellence who proved that strength and struggle can coexist. Today, she is remembered not just for the crown she wore, but for the barriers she broke and the vital message of mental health awareness she left behind in her silence. Frankie Lymon. Frankie Lymon was the definitive boy wonder of the rock and roll era, a prodigious talent whose angelic soprano and electric stage presence ignited a global musical revolution. Born on September 30th, 1942 in Harlem, New York, he possessed a golden throat that captivated audiences long before he reached adulthood. At the tender age of 13, as the frontman for Frankie Lymon and the Teenagers, he delivered Why Do Fools Fall in Love?, a quintessential doo-wop masterpiece that topped charts in 1956. Frankie wasn't just a singer, he was a trailblazing entertainer whose high-energy performances and synchronized dance moves set the blueprint for future boy bands and solo icons alike. He broke racial barriers during a segregated era, appearing on national television and becoming one of the first Black teenage idols to achieve true crossover superstardom. His influence was seismic, providing the direct inspiration for a young Michael Jackson and countless other vocalists who sought to emulate his effortless charisma and soaring range. Behind the bright lights of the Apollo Theater, however, Frankie's meteoric rise was shadowed by the predatory nature of the early music industry. Despite generating massive revenue for his labels, he saw very little of the financial rewards, leading to a lifelong struggle for his rightful royalties. As his voice began to change with puberty, the industry that had exploited his youth began to distance itself, leaving a vulnerable young man to navigate the complexities of fame alone. Throughout his late teens and early 20s, Frankie attempted to reinvent himself as a solo artist, but he found it difficult to escape the shadow of his childhood success. The tragedy of Frankie Lymon's life lay in his profound struggle with substance addiction, a demon that haunted him during his search for a career comeback. Despite being married 3 times and making several attempts at rehabilitation, the pressures of a fading spotlight and past traumas weighed heavily. On February 28, 1968, the music world was struck by the news that Frankie had passed away at the age of 25. He was found on the floor of his grandmother's bathroom in Harlem, the victim of a heroin overdose. He died with a dream of a new recording contract still in his pocket. Posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993, Frankie Lymon remains a symbol of both immense brilliance and the cautionary perils of early fame. His voice remains frozen in time, a joyous, youthful sound that forever echoes the innocence and energy of a musical revolution. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was the architect of soul, a transcendental artist whose velvet delivery and entrepreneurial spirit bridged the gap between the sacred and the secular. Born on January 22, 1931 in Clarksdale, Mississippi, he was the son of a minister honing his divine tenor in the gospel group The Soul Stirrers. When he transitioned to popular music in 1957 with the hit You Send Me, he didn't just find success, he invented a new sonic vocabulary. Cooke possessed a voice that was both effortless and impeccably controlled, capable of gliding through romantic ballads like Cupid or igniting the dance floor with Twisting the Night Away. He was a pioneer of the crossover phenomenon, possessing a universal charm that appealed to diverse audiences during a deeply divided era in American history. Beyond his vocal mastery, Cooke was a shrewd revolutionary in an industry designed to exploit Black artists. He became one of the first African-American musicians to found his own record label, CIR Records and Publishing Company, ensuring he retained ownership of his masters and creative vision. This autonomy allowed him to infuse his music with increasing social relevance. His magnum opus, A Change Is Gonna Come, was inspired by his experiences with racial profiling and the burgeoning civil rights movement. With its sweeping orchestral arrangement and hauntingly hopeful lyrics, the song became an eternal anthem for justice. He wasn't just a pop star, he was a leader who understood that economic independence was as vital as artistic expression in the fight for equality. The world was shocked on December 11, 1964, when Cook was shot and killed at a Los Angeles motel at the age of 33. The circumstances surrounding his death, involving a motel manager, remain a subject of intense controversy and mystery to this day. His passing felt like a premature finale to a life that was still reaching its creative and political zenith. Posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a charter member, Sam Cooke's legacy is foundational. He taught the world that soul was more than a genre. It was a blend of dignity, struggle, and unyielding grace. His voice remains a timeless beacon, a reminder that while the singer was silenced, the change he sang of continues to ripple through the soul of global culture. Michelle Thomas. Michelle Thomas was a radiant presence on the small screen, a gifted comedic actress whose infectious energy and expressive charm made her a standout in the golden era of 90s television. Born on September 23, 1968, in Boston, and raised in a family of artists, her father was a member of the legendary musical group Kool and the Gang. She seemed destined for the spotlight. Michelle first captured the public's heart as Justine Phillips, the girlfriend of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. However, it was her iconic role as Myra Monkhouse on the long-running sitcom Family Matters that cemented her status as a household name. As the obsessed yet endearing girlfriend of Steve Urkel, Michelle showcased an impeccable sense of timing, transforming a character that could have been one-dimensional into a vibrant, multi-layered fan favorite, who held her own against the show's comedic heavyweights. Beyond the laughter of sitcoms, Michelle's versatility allowed her to traverse different genres with ease. She displayed her dramatic range in the film Hanging with the Homeboys, and later joined the cast of the legendary soap opera The Young and the Restless as Callie Rogers. For her performance in the latter, she received an NAACP Image Award nomination, a testament to her ability to bring depth and authenticity to every project she touched. Off-camera, Michelle was known for her immense kindness, a vibrant spirit who remained deeply connected to her craft and her community. She was a woman of elegance and grace, often praised by colleagues for her professionalism and the light she brought to every set, regardless of the challenges she might have been facing privately. The entertainment world was struck by a profound sense of loss on December 22, 1998, when Michelle passed away at the age of 30. Her life was tragically cut short by a rare form of stomach cancer known as intra-abdominal desmoplastic small round cell tumor. Despite undergoing multiple surgeries and showing incredible resilience during her battle, the illness proved insurmountable. Her passing occurred just as she was beginning to explore more mature dramatic roles, leaving fans to wonder how much further her immense talent would have taken her. Michelle Thomas is remembered not just for the iconic characters she brought to life, but for the joy she radiated. She remains a beloved figure of 90s nostalgia, a bright star whose warmth continues to be felt through the reruns of the shows that made her a star. Otis Redding. Otis Redding was the king of soul, a primal force of nature whose raw emotive rasp and rhythmic urgency defined the Stax Records sound and reshaped popular music. Born on September 9, 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, he began his journey as a gospel singer before transitioning into a powerhouse performer. Otis didn't just sing lyrics, he testified. His voice possessed an incredible gravitational pull, capable of conveying deep, agonizing heartbreak in ballads like These Arms of Mine, or explosive horn-drenched energy in tracks like I Can't Turn You Loose. He was a master of the slow burn building songs from a whisper to a fever pitch of soulful ecstasy. His performance at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967 is legendary as he captivated a predominantly white rock audience, bridging racial divides through the sheer undeniable power of his artistry. Beyond his vocal prowess, Redding was a prolific songwriter and a savvy businessman who sought complete creative control over his work. He wrote Respect, a song that would later become a global anthem for Aretha Franklin, and he was instrumental in arranging the gritty, brass-heavy compositions that became his trademark. Otis was also a mentor and a pillar of the Black community, known for his generosity and his Big O persona, a larger-than-life figure who remained deeply humble and connected to his Southern roots. He was an artist who felt every note, often recording songs in just 1 or 2 takes, because his emotional delivery was so visceral that it couldn't be manufactured. He was on the verge of becoming a global pop superstar, poised to bring soul music to the absolute forefront of the international stage. The world was struck by a monumental tragedy on December 10, 1967. Just days after recording his masterpiece, sitting on the dock of the bay, Otis and several members of his band, the Bar-Kays, perished when their private plane crashed into the icy waters of Lake Monona, Wisconsin. He was only 26 years old. The Dock of the Bay, released posthumously, became the first ever posthumous #1 hit in U.S. history. The song's whistling finale and introspective mood marked a new, more mature direction for Otis, one that he sadly never got to explore further. Otis Redding left behind a legacy of pure, unadulterated soul. He remains a titan whose influence can be heard in every gravelly note of rock and soul that followed a king who left his throne far too soon. Bobbi Kristina Brown. Bobbi Kristina Brown was a figure of immense public fascination, born into the complex intersection of global superstardom and relentless media scrutiny. As the only child of pop icon Whitney Houston and R&B star Bobby Brown, born on March 4, 1993 in Livingston, New Jersey, her life was a high-stakes drama played out under the unforgiving glare of the paparazzi. From a young age, she was a recurring figure in the spotlight, appearing on stage with her mother and later in the reality series Being Bobby Brown. She possessed a delicate, soulful beauty and a voice that hinted at the legendary vocal genes she inherited. Bobbi Kristina was more than just a celebrity scion. She was a young woman striving to carve out her own identity while bearing the monumental weight of her family's public struggles and triumphs. Her world was shattered on February 11, 2012, when her mother, Whitney Houston, passed away suddenly. The loss of her mummy and best friend left an irreparable void in her life, thrusting her into a spiral of grief that the world watched with a mixture of empathy and voyeurism. Despite the immense pain, she attempted to honor her mother's legacy, appearing in the reality show The Houstons on Our Own and aspiring to pursue a career in acting and music. She was often described by those close to her as a spirited and affectionate soul who deeply craved stability and genuine connection. However, the combination of immense inheritance, personal trauma, and a turbulent relationship with Nick Gordon created a fragile environment that hindered her ability to truly flourish. The tragedy of her life reached a hauntingly familiar conclusion on January 31, 2015, when she was found unresponsive in a bathtub in her Georgia home, an eerie echo of her mother's passing 3 years prior. After spending nearly 6 months in a medically induced coma and under hospice care, Bobbi Kristina Brown passed away on July 26, 2015, at the heartbreaking age of 22. Her death was a dual tragedy, marking the end of a line for one of music's most iconic figures, and a life that never got the chance to fully blossom away from the shadows of fame. She remains a symbol of the heavy price of celebrity and a reminder of the vulnerability inherent in being born into the spotlight. Bobbi Kristina is remembered not for her professional accolades, but as a young woman who loved deeply and was lost too soon to the currents of a life she didn't choose. Lamont Bentley. Lamont Bentley was a vibrant talent whose infectious charisma and effortless comedic timing made him a cornerstone of African-American television in the 1990s. Born Artemus Lamont Bentley on October 25, 1973, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he moved to Los Angeles with his mother to pursue an acting career, quickly landing roles that showcased his natural magnetism. He skyrocketed to fame as Hakeem Campbell on the hit UPN sitcom Moesha, as the loyal, humorous, and occasionally mischievous best friend to the titular character. Bentley provided the show with its rhythmic pulse. He didn't just play a sidekick, he crafted a character that felt like a real brother or neighbor to millions of viewers, blending streetwise swagger with a deeply likable vulnerability. His chemistry with Brandy Norwood was a driving force behind the show's 6-season success, making him a household name. Beyond the laughter of Moesha, Bentley was a dedicated craftsman who sought to push his artistic boundaries. He reprised the role of Hakeem in the spin-off The Parkers and delivered a hauntingly accurate portrayal of hip-hop pioneer C.P. O'Shark Dog in the biopic Too Legit, the MC Hammer story. His versatility extended to film with notable appearances in Tales from the Hood and The Wash, where he held his own alongside industry heavyweights. Off-screen, Lamont was an aspiring rapper and a devoted father to his two daughters, known by his peers as a light in the room, a man whose laughter could dissolve the tension of a long production day. He possessed a relentless work ethic and was in the process of transitioning into more mature dramatic roles that would have undoubtedly solidified his status as a Hollywood mainstay. Tragedy struck on January 19, 2005, when Lamont Bentley's life was cut short in a high-speed car accident in Ventura County, California. He was only 31 years old. His vehicle plunged down an embankment, a sudden and violent end to a journey that was still ascending toward its peak. The news of his passing devastated his former castmates and a generation of fans who had grown up watching him evolve on screen. At the time of his death, he had several projects in development, leaving the industry to mourn a star whose full potential remained tragically untapped. Lamont Bentley is remembered as a pillar of Black excellence in the sitcom era, a man who brought joy, authenticity, and a sense of family to every household he visited through the television screen. His legacy endures in the timeless reruns of his work, where his smile remains as bright as ever. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge was the quintessential tragic Venus of Hollywood's golden age, a woman of ethereal beauty and formidable dramatic talent, who shattered racial glass ceilings while being consumed by the very system that elevated her. Born on November 9, 1922 in Cleveland, Ohio, she began her career as a child performer in The Wonder Children, later becoming a fixture at the legendary Cotton Club. Dorothy was more than a nightclub chanteuse, she was a cinematic pioneer. In 1954, she delivered a scorching, definitive performance in Carmen Jones, a role that earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, making her the first African-American woman in history to achieve this feat. She possessed a magnetic screen presence that combined the sultry allure of a femme fatale with a raw, heart-wrenching vulnerability, proving she was the equal of any contemporary screen siren like Marilyn Monroe or Elizabeth Taylor. Despite her historic Oscar nod, Dorothy faced the systemic cruelty of a segregated industry that refused to see her as anything other than a colored star. Hollywood offered her few roles that matched her caliber, often forcing her to choose between stereotypical characters or professional stagnation. She was a woman caught between worlds, a superstar who could sell out the most luxurious venues, but was often denied entrance through the front door of the very hotels where she performed. Beyond the professional hurdles, her personal life was a series of profound heartbreaks, including a volatile marriage and the struggle to care for her daughter, who suffered from severe brain damage. Dorothy was a perfectionist who felt the crushing weight of representing an entire race, a burden that took a significant toll on her mental and emotional well-being. The decline of her career, exacerbated by financial mismanagement and a string of failed relationships, led to a period of deep isolation. On September 8, 1965, Dorothy Dandridge was found dead in her West Hollywood apartment at the age of 42. Her death was attributed to an accidental overdose of an antidepressant, though some theories suggest a fat embolism. She died with only $2 in her bank account, a staggering end for a woman who had once been the toast of the international film community. Dorothy was a trailblazer who walked so that future generations could run. She fought for dignity in an era that tried to strip it away. Today, she is remembered as a martyr of the studio system and a timeless icon whose grace and struggle continue to inspire every woman of color who dares to lead on the silver screen. Each of these luminaries, from the soulful grit of Otis Redding to the legal brilliance of Cheslie Kryst, embodies the spirit of Black excellence legends. They broke barriers and redefined genres, yet their stories were tragically cut short by systemic pressures, health struggles, or sudden fate. While their artistic contributions are undeniable, their untimely departures leave us with a haunting silence and a collection of what-ifs. As we celebrate their monumental achievements, we must ask, does society place an impossible burden of perfection on Black icons, effectively fueling the tragedies that silence them too soon?